WrestleMania 2 was supposed to be bigger, louder, and better than the first, but what we got instead was one of the worst WrestleManias of all time with some of the strangest gimmicks the wrestling world has ever seen. Let's see how the WWE's big gamble turned into one of the strangest nights in WrestleMania history. But before we do, make sure to leave a like, comment, subscribe. I'm new around here, so doing any or all of those would really help me on my journey. Thank you. Now, first off, this WrestleMania was held in 3 cities, Chicago, New York, and Los Angeles, which was a really bad gimmick because, you might be asking yourself, how did this work? How did any of this work? It didn't. So, essentially, every single venue got 4 matches, and the rest of the matches you would watch on the big screens up there, and that's it. You paid a ticket to come watch WrestleMania, the show, and then you got 4 matches, and the rest of the matches you could basically be watching at home. It was just and that's it. So, yeah, it wasn't the greatest thing. There were 3 main events because, again, 3 venues, and this was a really bad gimmick. I can definitely see why they never did it again, so that should tell you all you need to know about it. Now, this WrestleMania also had some really big celebrities, the likes of Joe Frazier, Ozzy Osbourne, Ray Charles, who was singing the entrance song. I'm pretty sure it wasn't the national anthem, but something along those lines, Some America song. You also had Herb, Daryl Dawkins, John Rivers. Again, a lot of different celebrities. The spectacle is there, kind of, because it didn't really hit the same way the first time hit. But yeah. Now, starting this WrestleMania off, Roddy Piper would actually cut a promo against Mr. T and saying that if he loses the boxing match, he would retire. Will that actually happen? Stay tuned and watch, I guess. You could probably guess what it is. But yeah, starting off our New York portion of WrestleMania would be Paul Orndorff versus Morocco. And this video had one of the strangest things I've seen, which is the audio of their interview playing over the match. So they would start fighting and everything, and then you would just hear Paul Orndorff and Morocco talking for some reason. Again, it was really bad. I wouldn't be surprised if they had this for every single match, but they just decided not to put it in because they immediately saw, oh yeah, this is doing bad. Just cut it off. This is the only match we'll do it. Cut it off for all the rest of them because, again, it was really bad, and also the match in and of itself wasn't all that too great. It was mostly just holds and slow chain wrestling. And then the match ended without anyone realizing it had ended. You could hear the bell, but you were like, what ended the match here? Is the match finished? Because even Vince McMahon on commentary was like, is the match finished? I don't know. Okay, they're trying to get back into the ring. They're gonna continue to fight. Oh no, they're not. Okay, let's hear what the announcers have to say about this. And then the announcer, 3 minutes after the match had actually ended, so it was just 3 minutes of pure confusion, the announcers would say, yeah, it's a double DQ, or I guess double count out. And that's it. That's all there is to it. A pretty bad match to start off the biggest show of the year, so yeah. But the next match was actually a little bit better. We had George the Animal Steel versus Randy Savage, and this was for the Intercontinental Championship, which was held by Randy Savage at the time. And this match was kind of like a funny, gimmicky match because George the Animal Steel was in love with Randy Savage's wife, Elizabeth. So even though George the Animal was bigger and stronger and could overpower Randy, every time he would start doing that, he would look at Elizabeth and just look deep into her soul, as a wild beast looks at someone he likes during the mating season. It was just so weird, but it worked. It worked. The first half of the match was just Randy Savage running around, running away from the animal. But then, yeah, also there were a couple of moments during this match where I was like, how did they not get disqualified? Because Randy Savage would use flowers to hit George the Animal Steel in the face and everything. Then George the Animal Steel would open the top turnbuckle, he would, I guess, reveal it. And it was some of the things that call for a DQ nowadays didn't call for a DQ then, which is just wild in my mind. So yeah, again, a really fun match. Randy Savage is such a good seller. I can't wait for the next WrestleMania that I'm going to watch, because at that WrestleMania we had the definitely greatest match of this era between Randy Savage and, actually we'll talk about him later. So yeah, again, okay match, really fun. I didn't really reach for my phone or anything, which always tells me, yeah, it was at least an okay match. So yeah, Randy would win by a surprise roll-up pin, I guess. And he would put his feet on the second rope and win like that. So yeah, again, weird but fun. Next up, we had Jake the Snake Roberts versus George Wells, and this was one of the strangest matches because Wells was squashing him the entire match, and then Jake the Snake Roberts would just catch him for a one DDT, one move, and then he would win. Again, I know the DDT was like a huge finisher at this time. I'm not saying anything against that, but it was like just kind of, okay, he just surprised one, and that's it. And then he would bring out his snakes and wrap them around George Wells's throat and stuff like that. So yeah, again, fine match, nothing too crazy, but weird, definitely weird. And then for our main event of the New York portion of this WrestleMania, we have boxing match. Yeah, Roddy Piper versus Mr. Teen, a boxing match, which boxing matches have no place in a wrestling ring, especially scripted boxing matches. Like, that's not what anyone is here for. That's not what WrestleMania is for. I get it, you wanted to get Roddy Piper and Mr. T in a match, but you could just have a normal wrestling match. Why make it a boxing match? It was just really weird. Roddy Piper would lose via DQ, he would attack the ref, and then I guess we'd have some kind of like excuse from Roddy Piper where he would be like, I didn't get knocked out, I was cheated and stuff like that. So yeah, I mean, he isn't gonna retire, but again, I mean, actually one good thing I have to say about this is that Roddy Piper is such a good talker, and I knew that. If you haven't seen my best talkers of all time list, I put him in number one. He's the greatest talker, he's the greatest promo of all time. So yeah, that's a great thing, but apart from that, scripted boxing matches have no place in this business, and I'm glad they're not doing them anymore, but there was a time where they just did it all the time, so yeah, I'm glad that's over. Next up, we have the Chicago portion of this WrestleMania, which starts off with Velvet McIntyre, the mother of Drew McIntyre. I just made that up. I'm pretty sure that's not true, but don't fact check me. Believe me in my word. Don't fact check me on anything. And she would fight against the fabulous Moolah for the Ladies World Championship. And man, these women could go. Especially with Velvet McIntyre. I mean, she would like do a one-footed dropkick and was amazing. The only bad thing about this match is that it lasted for only 20 seconds, but those 20 seconds were probably my 20 favorite seconds of wrestling from this entire event. So yeah, take that as you will. Fabulous Moolah won, and that's about it. Again, these women could go. Then we had a flag match, which was basically the stipulation where the winner could raise the flag of his country, and of course this was the USSR versus USA, Nikolai Volkov versus Corporal Kreischer, something like that. I'm not too sure how to pronounce that, honestly. And it was a okay match. It was just a cheap pop match. Of course, Kreischer won because imagine the Soviet flag being raised in the middle of Chicago in the 80s. That doesn't work. That don't work at all. So yeah, Corporal would win. He would raise the flag, and that's it. Again, just a cheap pop. Not too bad, not anything insulting, but just kind of weird. Then we had the 20-man Battle Royal, basically the only good gimmick of this entire event. And of course, everyone knows that Andre the Giant won it, but it was a good match. I mean, you could definitely see that it was the first of its kind. For all of you who don't know, this was the first modern style of a Battle Royal. By modern, I mean the fact you have to throw someone over the top rope. And actually, the last two men standing would be, of course, Andre the Giant and Bret the Hitman Hart. I completely forgot about that, and it was just so funny seeing Bret Hart like this young in this ring, in this match, it was really fun. But yeah, Andre the Giant would win. Kind of a fun thing, nothing too special. Of course, Battle Royals would evolve and evolve and evolve and become something crazy. But yeah, a fun thing. And to end us off with the Chicago portion of the event, we had the tag team title match between Greg Valentine and Brutus Beefcake, who were the champions at the time, versus the British Bulldogs. And it was a good match, it was a really good match. The tag teams could go in this era, but it was a kind of a stupid finish where Greg Valentine would just ram his head first. He himself head first into one of the Bulldogs. I'm not sure which one it was. But yeah, he would ram his head into him, the other guy would pin him, and that was the end of the match. And everyone would be like, no, no, no. But hey, they won the title. The British Bulldogs are the new tag team champs. And actually, the crowd popped. So yeah, it worked. Just a stupid finish, that's all. But again, crowd popped, so that's all you can ask for. And now moving on to the Los Angeles portion of the WrestleMania, the Los Angeles crowd, which has been sitting for 2 hours up to this point. So as you can probably guess, this crowd, especially in the beginning, wasn't all that too loud. They were kind of already bored out of their minds because they had been looking up at the screens for 2 hours. But yeah, the first match was Hercules Hernandez versus Ricky Steamboat. And honestly, Ricky Steamboat might be the greatest wrestler of this generation. And he is the guy Randy Savage gonna face in the next WrestleMania. So if you want to watch me review that, please subscribe down below. But yeah, it was a really good match, especially considering that I've never heard of Hercules Hernandez, and he didn't seem like the greatest in-ring worker. But again, match was amazing. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat would win with a high crossbody, which I've talked about this in the previous review of WrestleMania 1. But a high crossbody being a finisher, it's kind of a wild thing, the same as like the DDT. Both of them are just kind of like the working into a finisher moves now. So yeah, it was really, really fun watching that. The next match would be one of the weirdest matches I've seen in my life, which is Adrian Adonis versus Uncle Elmer. And what the hell is Adrian Adonis? I honestly don't understand. Is he supposed to be some kind of a crazy woman? I'm not so sure that he would win the match. That's it. This was so weird to watch. I honestly couldn't watch. It was... I couldn't believe it. This didn't age well. This didn't wage at all. But the next match, we had another tag team match, which was the Funk Brothers versus Tito Santana and the Junkyard Dog. A pretty good match. The tag teams are always good, and the Funks would win this match with Terry Funk, late great. He would strike the Junkyard Dog in the back of his head with a megaphone, which was given to him by his manager, Jimmy Hart. An okay match, nothing too special. Again, the tag teams could go, and I knew to expect something good. Something good is what I got, and that's about it. A good match, nothing more to say about it. And then we have our main event of WrestleMania, as well as the Los Angeles portion of this event. And that will be Hulk Hogan coming in as the champion versus King Kong Bundy in a steel cage match. And this was, of course, for the WWF Championship. And there was this weird segment before the match where we had like 5, 6, 7 minutes of Hulk Hogan just talking about how hurt he is and how his ribs hurt and everything, but he's training, he's in the gym, because you know he's not gonna give up, brother, but he's hurting and all. And I was expecting like this to play some kind of a big portion of the match, like some big point. It didn't really amount to anything that in the match. And also the use of the steel cage was pretty bad. It was an okay match. I could see the story, I could see the psychology, but again, like, for you to build something up as much as Hogan's injuries at the time, and for them not to mean anything during the match, was kind of weird. I mean, the commentators would like talk about how injured he is, but that was mostly just like as an excuse that Hogan couldn't body slam him. Which, I mean, they were talking about Hogan as if, like, if his ribs were okay, he could body slam 900 pounds, brother. So, yeah, An okay match. Again, not the greatest use of the steel cage. They would just slam their heads into one side, then into the other side, then into the one side, then into the other side. It was kind of okay. Hogan would climb out and win, and that was the end of WrestleMania. Now, if you enjoyed this review, please go check out the first one, which would be here or here. I'm not sure on which side it is, but it will be here on the screen somewhere. So again, if you enjoyed this one, please make sure to check that one out. I would really appreciate it, and thank you.